All right. Hello, 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 everyone. It's great to be here. I'm excited to see everyone. And if you're watching us from YouTube, if you're watching us from Instagram, or if you're watching us from LinkedIn, hello, welcome, and thank you for joining us. Well, I'm excited. What about y'all?
I'm excited.
I'm excited. Yeah.
Yeah. This is an amazing, amazing new team. And before I introduce them, I'd be remiss not to give a shout out and a mention to AJ Armand Jennings, who most of you know and love as our speaker liaison. He's our operations manager. He does so much for Afros and Audio, and he's been around since 2019. I'm hearing a lot of clicking in the background. Um, so, but he's done so much since 2019 with us. He's been here since the beginning. So I want to shout out AJ. He's going to be here helping us go through comments, and that's going to be dope. There you go. There's AJ. Pulling him to the stage now. What's going on, AJ? And special shout out to Nicole Walker, our sponsorship manager, who has been with us since 2022. She's dynamic. She's great. Anybody who knows her, you love her. She's made this conference and the support around it. It's just changed exponentially. And so I want to thank her. And let's go right into it. I want to introduce you to Shamiko first, who has been with us. Well, you know what? Let's do it. Let's do it this way. I'm gonna go in order of for real been with us. And so, Shamiko came in around 2021, right, with the virtual, and so Shamiko's been great. AJ, as I mentioned, has been here with us since 2019, since the beginning, and Minister has been with Afros and Audio since 2019. In fact, she is the first venue that we ever had our conference at. We're going to go into that story. It's a great story. A lot of people know the origin story of the conference, but don't know how we got to our first venue with the conference. And I think that's it's really important for us to tell these stories and keep them alive because they matter to the path and the journey of what you all know and love today and where we're headed in our sixth annual event. And then we'll get there. But Shamika, I want you to introduce yourself. Been here with us since 2021, started off with us as a speaker. And I'm going to close my mouth and let you go, Shamiko.
Hey everybody, my name is Shamiko Reed. I usually go by Miss Reed. I joined the Afros and Audio team as the assistant last year in 2023. As Talib said, I joined the Afros and Audio family as a speaker in 2021 during the virtual conference. It was my first speaking engagement that wasn't on a podcast platform as a podcaster. So that was very exciting. I was able to take advantage of that opportunity because of Danielle Desir. She had at the time a free Facebook group, Women of Color Podcasters, and she encouraged me to apply. And for some reason, I wasn't getting the emails that my speaker submission was accepted. And AJ was on it. AJ was like finding me on Instagram, and I had like multiple Instagram pages. He was like, "Hey, are you still interested? Because we sent you some stuff." And so I've always appreciated being involved with Afros and Audio because it's truly like a nobody left behind environment. Once you show interest, once you have shown that you have something to bring to the community, or you are looking to spread information and spread the value of the community, they make sure that that opportunity is there for you to do so. So I was a speaker in 2021. I moderated a panel in 2022, and at the end of the 2022 panel in Philly, at the end of the conference, Talib was like, I offered, I was waiting on a ride. And I was like, do you guys need any help packing up? And he was like, no, but we're going to put you to work next year. And true to life, last year, he brought me on the team in 2023. I helped with going through the speaker submissions and doing some of the background programming for the first conference in Baltimore. And we're returning to Baltimore this year. I'm very excited about that. We are looking for people to join the planning committee and help us do the same, go through the submissions we've received for speakers, talent, and we're doing a little bit of something different with the agenda this year. So if you guys are interested in joining and being a part of our planning committee this year, be sure to let us know. AJ, if you can drop in the chats for people the link for that. That would be great. But yeah, it's
Yep,
been
yep.
it's been a pleasure to be on the Afros and Audio team. And there you see at the bottom of the screen, it says bit.ly backslash AFAU planning
Yeah.
planners, excuse me, bit.ly backslash AFAU planners. You can fill out the form at that link there, or you can reach me, Shamiko, SHAMIKO, at afrosandaudio.com.
Absolutely. Thank you, Shamiko. And you'll be hearing more from her. And Minister, I want to bring you up and I want to tell the folks some good stories, right? We got a real juicy one that we're gonna save to the end. Like a real juicy one. Y'all don't want to miss it. Y'all not gonna believe it.
No, you won't believe it.
you won't believe it. But I want to talk about how Minister and I came to know each other, and it was so unassuming, right? We had a event, a venue in 2019, and I had it hold on the calendar for a good 13 months, and Minister reached out. I had no idea who she was. She reached out one day. I got a DM. She says she hardly remembers this. I remember everything. It's all etched in my brain. So um, she sends me a DM just out of the blue and says, "Where is the Afros and Audio Podcast Festival happening?" And I told her the other event name, and she said, "Okay." And that was the end. We didn't talk again. And then someone else from the community, Wise, Grisette, and Quana, um, they knew they had come into contact with Minister, and you were putting on your own event, Juxtapose,
Yeah.
at the space. And Quana reached out to me. She said, I know this woman, Minista Jazz. She just opened up a space in Brooklyn, and she's looking for speakers. Go over there and just do something. And when I got there, you was like, do something, do whatever you want. And I'm like, okay, but I'm a creative, and for those who have gotten to know me, I rise to all occasions. I just try to avoid all occasions at all costs, but I will rise to them. And so I sat there and I read this poem that I wrote,
Beautiful, beautiful.
and it's something that AJ knows the poem because we did something together and read it in this random neuroscience Danish dude's house. And this poem is something that's near and dear to my heart, but I hardly ever read it out loud. Like that was probably the first of two times. And I did that, left. We still wasn't talking about this conference being at your venue.
Can I say at that point, because
Yes.
from my perspective, right, at this point, I was like, I love this person. There is a connection here. Like whatever's happening, I really want to work with this person. I really want to like support whatever he has going on. Like I had already made up in my mind, and anybody that knows me, I'm clear. Like I get super clear really quickly. My spirit speaks before I do. And so I knew then that it was going to be a long-term relationship. He might not have known, but I knew that.
No, yeah, word up. You was like, "You're my brother," and I was like, "Okay, you're my sister then." right. And so then a month to the day of this conference, I get a call, and it was saying that the venue that we had on lock is now gone, and devastation. First conference ever. And now I've got people coming from London, all across the U.S., and I don't have a venue anymore. And so I reached back out to this person who asked me where the event was going to be. And long story short, right, I said, I need you. Like, I need you. This is happening. I need this space. And she said, well, we only have Saturday. I'm like, well, it's Saturday and Sunday, so we got to do something. And we had our first conference in Brooklyn, Bedford Ave. We are much different. You could take it from here. It was dope.
Yeah, it was dope. That particular space is so special because at the time I learned that it was also Shirley Chisholm's campaign headquarters. And the trippy thing about it is, Talib, I didn't even tell you, when I watched the Shirley Chisholm video movie that they recently made with oh my goodness, what's her name? I can't think of her name.
Virginia King.
Mm-hmm.
Thank you so much. Oh my God, I promise I already would do that. But when I watched it, I was just like, oh my God, this looks like much different. I could see that they really did take the space the way that it looked, and they recreated it. But it
Wow.
was her initial campaign headquarters. So this space was really special. And so to have the very first Afros and Audios podcast festival be featured at Much Different, which was a Black woman-owned space, and then you had this Black celebration of audios, and in this historic space, it was so synchronistic. So synchronistic. And then I even remember, and I told to Talib yesterday, what made it so special for me again is that then Amsterdam News wrote about it, which is a Black publication, one of the first Black publications out of Harlem. So it was just all of this like history in the making. And here it is 6 years later, history is still being made. And so I'm so excited to be a part of Afros and Audios in this capacity. Now I am the Innovation and Engagement Curator here at Afros and Audio. And, my vision for what this gets to be is really opening it up so that people understand that even though our heart and center is around podcasting, that audio is such a platform for us as Black people to be able to get our messages out there and stapled into history. The way that we were able to do it when writing and people were able to use the press, we can use this platform as well to be able to make our mark in the world. And so that is my intention. Every time I'm creating, every time I'm giving ideas, it's like, how can we expand? How can we know that this is our space to take over, to rock and to roll?
Absolutely. And the reason why the origin is so important is because we haven't left it, right? This is still
Yep.
such an important initiative, such an important space. And anyone who's been to Afros and Audio can tell you how special it is. We have an actual there's a video on YouTube. It's about 18 minutes. I encourage you all to go and watch it. And it's called Hear From Our Community. And we have just basically sound bites from folks who have been a part of the Afros and Audio community, some since the beginning, some more recent, but all of their experiences about the conference. It really says that the intention that was set early on is absolutely where we have been and where we're going. And one of those things, one of those big things, and our motto has been a commitment to community and collaboration.
Yeah.
And for me, again, the origin, and some of you have heard and some of you haven't, I won't go into this, but the origin of it is me starting my own podcast, audio fiction, looking for a community that I could not find. Now there's Black Audio Dramas Exist. Shout out to Black Audio Dramas Exist and Experience J, where there is a whole library of audio fiction created, produced, written, directed by Black creatives. But in 2017, it wasn't there. And I was kind of out there by myself, and I'm looking for a community that I did not see. And so it's like, okay, what I'm going to do is go ahead and build it. And that was only supposed to be an online community. And now, from that moment in time, from a podcast to a podcast festival, it's really special that understanding that podcasting is a creative space. It is a creative space. It's a creator space. And when you think about it being a creator space, how important it is for creatives, Black creators, to find a space where they can feel seen, where they can feel heard and celebrated, feel a sense of belonging, lead with the community. And it was always, always, always about the day after the conference. How do we stay in relationship? How do we stay in community? How do we continue to move our mission forward, which is to share our lived experiences as it is right now to the world, whatever it looks like, from whatever corner of the world you are in. It is so important for you to get on the mic, whether it's a large-scale podcast or a personal project, to lay down this record of our lives. It is so important, and that is my point and purpose. That's why Afros and Audio exists. That's why we're going to continue to push forward to make sure this event continues to be a mainstay in the lives of podcasters and audio professionals, aspiring, new, and beyond. It's important that we're in this space. So I appreciate the fact that we have this new team to help us to really usher in this opportunity. Really, it's an opportunity for expansion. We're in a world now that we've been in a world, right, that don't love us too well. And so to be able to be in a space where we can find each other, find our people, rock out and do work with one another is exceptional. It's important. And so with that said, Minister, we're talking about now like our collaborations and our content creation and our event collaborations that we're considering. What do you want to say about that?
Well, first, I want to say to know us is to love us. And I think that the world doesn't take the time to get to know us. And podcasting is in audio storytelling is a wonderful way to let the world know us, know our stories, and engage with us in ways that wouldn't have been traditionally available. To hear our voices as opposed to putting your own voice to words is another wonderful way. And that's a great distinction between being able to listen as opposed to just reading something. And so the events that we have coming up, one thing that I'm so excited about, and Shamiko, you could echo on this or let me know what you're feeling, but the Black Writers Weekend. I'm so excited that that's happening.
Same. I actually was unfamiliar. And so for those who don't know me, before getting involved with Afros and Audio, having a podcast, I was a blogger first.
Mm,
And I started my blog because I wanted to write a book. And so to see what Black Writers Weekend has put together and the opportunity and the plans we have to collaborate and bring to the table for what they already have sounds, just be there, okay? Come to our conference, go to their conference. We'll be at both.
yes. The fact that they've given us an opportunity to exist, and they also notice the power and importance and the empowerment factor that comes with podcasting and audio storytelling has created a huge entire space for us to be able to exist within the conference. And so that is just a testament to how important it is to be a part of our community like Afros and Audios, because we're growing and we're being recognized for the work that we're doing, where we're being called into spaces that traditionally wouldn't be mentioned for audio, but this is one. And so those are the kind of things that are growing. What else you got, Talib? What are you thinking?
This is the beginning of a new, a new venture, right? We've wanted to make sure that collaboration starts with us. You see that we are truly about what we say we're about. And for the last 5 years, it's been really, really dedicated and intentional about focusing up and nurturing our community, building up this space for Black podcasters to know that there is value in the work that we are doing. There's value in the stories that we are telling. And you come to Afros and Audio, you're going to know that this is about amplifying our voices, laying down our living record again. And so when I think about us and our collaborations, like with Black Writers Weekend, which I had the pleasure of speaking at about 2 years ago. And this year, we're going to be taking over their main stage podcast segments and their podcast studio in Atlanta, Georgia, August 1st through 2nd. And this collaboration is the beginning. Let's just say it like that. It's the beginning of more to come, where we are able to bring in our community members to have other opportunities beyond Afros and Audio. Where can we position you to get work, to find opportunities to speak, and all of that, because you are a part of our community and a part of Black Podcasters Association. And so I'm just excited. It's going to be really, really cool. We have so much in store for Black Writers Weekend. Again, if you're in Atlanta, or if you want to head down to Atlanta, August 1st through 2nd at the Epicenter in Atlanta, we're going to have a great time, and we're going to bring our people with us. And I can't wait to tell y'all more about that. But stay tuned. That's an exciting thing. And what we're really looking forward to in a lot of ways, and I see the comments and I appreciate you all for being here, is this opportunity where we know how to have a good time. That's what we do. We're gonna have a good time. We're gonna party. We're gonna learn from each other. We're gonna share our experiences, and we're gonna and at least in our community, it's about seeing each other win. And so having this opportunity to then provide it and share the wealth with our community members, because you are associated with us, that's everything. That's the vision. That's the point and purpose of why we're here. And I'm just excited. I'm excited about everything we're doing in 2024, from the micro events that we'll be putting on that are very niche for audio professionals, for audio fiction creators, and anything in between, where we're really looking to nurture these segments of audio content, these segments of podcasters and audio professionals, and for people to understand that if you are in music, or if you are a project manager, or if you are a writer or a filmmaker, that's a transferable skill. Come over here. Come to podcasting. We got you. You know, we want to see you here. And that's why this year the tracks are specific. They're very specific. We're going to have one for the podcast creators, one for audio professionals, and one for new and aspiring podcasters. Because if you're podcast curious and you are nervous about being in the space because you haven't yet started your podcast, or you started your podcast, you don't know where to go from it, this is the place to come to. This is a place where you can come and people are going to embrace you and say, what do you need? And you might say, well, I've been trying to figure this out for the last 3 months, and that's why I gave up. And they said, well, just push that button right there and you're good to go. That's the point, right? The point is accelerating the support and resources. And I'm sure Shamiko can talk a bit about that. And feeling like you belong, no matter where you are in your podcasting journey, you're a part of Afros and Audio.
Definitely. With that, like, sharing that I can speak on that is very much on point, because like I said, I was in a free Facebook group and they said, hey, this opportunity is coming, and I was like, you know what, I saw something about that a couple years ago, let me try. And ever since I've been involved with Afros and Audio, I've had the opportunity to revamp my writing skills by writing for Black Pod News through the Black Podcasters Association. We had a book club in the Black Podcasters Association that got me re-engaged with reading, and those books we chose helped not just with podcasting, but just with different life skills. I've been able to take a voice acting class and have my first roles as a voice actress on different podcasts, audio dramas, through different members and people I've met through Afros and Audio, Cashmere Audio podcast. They were one of the audio dramas featured that first year that I was attending the virtual conference. And I was like, oh my gosh, I've never heard an audio drama podcast like this before. And they were on the featured platform. I got to meet that person, virtually connect with them. They were looking for voice actresses. I've been on a few episodes of that podcast. I've also done some work for Experience J for her podcast, Kiss. And then she decided to offer a voice reel class last fall, and I took that, and I've been working with her, and it's been amazing. So like, when you come into Afros and Audio, you may come feeling one way about your skills or thinking of yourself in one lane. At the time, I was a podcast host. I didn't know that I was also a podcast producer, because I was a one-woman show. I was doing everything. I was doing all the roles, and not knowing that these things have different titles, and that if I want to transition into doing this full-time, I can. And not only have I been able to be part of the Afros and Audio family, sharing the work that I've done through Afros and Audio, for Afros and Audio, through Black Podcast Association, for women of color podcasters, people in my own community have been like, I'm looking to start a podcast. Can you tell me how? Can I chat with you for a few minutes? Because this is what I'm thinking about. This is the hosting platform I'm interested in. And if I don't know, I know someone within the Afros and Audio community that I can send them to. Like, hey, that's not my forte, but I know this person knows tons about that. You can run your options by them, and I'm sure they can be of better assistance. So when you say it's a community, it's about what you bring to a community is what you get out of the community. And so if you are someone who is willing to share and willing to level up and willing to lend your skills to help others, you are also going to find and attract the other people within the community who are offering to do the same. And then you just share that with those in your outer circle, and they become part of the community as well.
Absolutely. And I see everyone's comment. Thank you, Shamiko. I see everyone's comments about not being able to see us. We're working on it. We're working on it. But I'm glad that you can hear us. Listen, this is Afros and Audio. So if it becomes the audio, then it is what it is. But we will make sure that our next live is going the way it needs to. But as long as y'all can hear us, I'm happy with that, and I'll continue to work on getting us on the stage. But thank you again, Shamiko, for that. And it really is. I really want to consider, right? We're in our 6th year, and this year is the year, right, where we are in a pivotal moment in the history of Afros in audio and the future of Afros in audio, and really wanting to make sure that everyone who wants to be a part of our amazing, amazing conference, and when I say amazing, I do mean amazing, our amazing conference, and wants to be a part of it and get involved, whether it's the planning committee, whether it's attending, whether it's speakers. And I just want to talk a little bit about our speakers submissions this year, as well as the format. So I don't know if anyone has seen the communication where it says new format, same mission. And the new format is our Friday. We're going to start it early. We'll have a live show on Friday, which is new. We haven't done that before. We've had a kickoff party every year. The first year was a sip and paint that we had, which was super cool. And unfortunately, you can't see me, but I have the painting right behind me that was done. But we had a really good time, and that was the beginning of us making sure that before Saturday and Sunday happened, right, commitment to community and collaboration, the folks who are contributing to the conference have an opportunity to meet, see each other, talk with one another, break bread, and so the day of, we're all comfortable, we're all cool, we're ready to go and share and be with one another in a way that supports the room and supports the attendees. So that is Friday. It's going to start around 4 o'clock and around the regular time, around 9 o'clock, because we got to get up the next morning. And Saturday is a full day. It's going to be an awesome day of learning and breakout sessions and immersive networking events. And specifically for our new format and our breakout sessions, this year we've had 60 plus speakers each year, which is phenomenal, which is dope. And we've had our agenda has been packed, and it's been so many gems have been dropped over the years. This year, specifically, we're going to do an open forum conversation in our breakout sessions, which means we'll have about 4 panelists that are specific to audio professionals. They'll be talking about a specific thing. There'll be a facilitated moderator. And what we want to do is make sure that our attendees are having an open forum opportunity to engage with the experts at the top of the room. So we want to make sure that there's that Q&A, that open dialogue. Whatever question you have, we want to make sure that we answer them, because this year specifically, we really want to make sure that you leave there not inundated with so much information that you don't know what to do with. We want to make sure that you get your specific question answered, and when you leave Afros in Audio, you're ready to go. I know what to do. I know what to do next. I know how to increase my audience. I know how to monetize. I know how to get this partnership. Whatever it looks like, I now know how to edit. I now know how to sound design. Whatever it looks like, we want to make sure that your questions are answered, and we're going to do that in a way that creates this open atmosphere breakout session. And these conversations, I already know, we've done this in other scales before. I already know this is going to be super dope and very insightful and advantageous for the attendees and the speakers who attend this year. So that I'm really looking forward to. So our submissions is now open, and it'll be open till about July 7th. And what we're looking for is you to submit. There's the topics are all there for you to check out and kind of decide what you want to bring to this year's conference. Look at those topics, figure out the track that you want, provide your bio, your image, all of those things, and we'll be getting back to you once we do our planning committee, where we figure out who we're going to select for our speakers this year. It's always a progressive conversation. I promise that in 2019. We will always have progressive conversations. What is happening now, not last year? Because Afros and Audio is like the new iPhone. The moment you get it, not Afros and Audio, podcasting. The moment you get the new iPhone, there's a new one coming out, and that's podcasting. It is an ever-evolving and emerging technology and medium, and we want to make sure that our folks, our community, is understanding of what to do now, and information that is needed to be able to access anything and everything that you need to access and know as you move forward with your podcast. So that's our speaker submission. I hope that anyone who wants to speak this year, we are only in person this year. only in person, not doing virtual. We will have recorded sessions that we can share out later, but this year is really going to be in person, and everybody who's in the room, they'll have that experience. So I don't know if anybody else wants to jump in. I'm gonna still try to figure out this live thing in our videos, but I wanted to kind of go back a bit and talk about the why afros in audio. You know, Shamiko, Minister, even AJ, if you wanna jump in. You know, why afros in audio? What makes afros in audio to you something that you want to see people come out to and support year after year?
I mean, I can jump in. Hi, everybody. I know I didn't get to introduce myself. My name is Armand Jennings. A lot of people call me AJ as well. And I've been with Afros and Audio since 2019 during the first conference. And the way I actually found out about it was because I think Talib and I have a mutual friend. His name is Franklin. And he was the one that was like, hey, yeah, there's a festival going on. You're into podcasting? Because I had been into podcasting since like 2015 and 16, and I've been like doing sound engineering for my friends' podcasts or trying to start my own one, and then I didn't really get it off the ground as much as I wanted to. So I was like, oh well, maybe I'll see if I can like learn something from this festival, you know, because I didn't have anybody else that I had connections with, especially people that look like me. Because everywhere that I saw, just like Tilly was saying, it's just a lot of people that did not look like me. So I went on that Saturday, and I introduced myself to Talib, and he was like, yeah, just hang out over there for a second, and we'll get you sorted out and figure out what you can do. So I was just watching the different panels um that went during that Saturday, and then every once in a while, if he needed help with something, I would just help him out here and there. So I was there for that first conference, and being able to see all of the people that, again, one, really important, looked like me, and then two, being able to learn so much from them that I did not know. In terms of sound engineering for podcasting, I feel like I knew quite a bit, but even then, I had learned different tips and tricks from different people and making connections with people. That's what drew me into Afros and audio the first time. Afterwards, I told myself like I have to go back there and I have to learn more and do more. I didn't want to just be a person that just attended the event. I wanted to be a part of the planning process. I need to know how all this happened. So I went back to Tulip and I was like, hey, listen, I love the event and I would like to help. Or actually, I don't know if I went to you first or if you went to me first. Like, hey, you were a good help. Did you want to be a part of the next year? But I think I went to you. So um, I was able to talk to him again. And he said, yeah, we love your help for next year. And then, COVID happened. And I was like, you know what? Even though COVID's happening, I was still like, if we're still doing this, I would still like to help. And over the course of these past five conventions, I was able to meet so many cool people, um, learn so many different things, and I would not replace that experience for anything. I always tell Talib, I say that no matter what happens for the future or how things grow in the future, I'm like with you 100% because
Yeah.
he took a chance on me, didn't even know me. He was like, hey, you're cool, so if you want to help out, help out. And I did my very best to make sure that I did help out wherever I could. And I was like, hey, listen, whatever you got to do, I got your back 100%. And I always tell him that.
And yeah, and you have for sure, man. It's been a ride, and I'm so appreciative of your support. And we're still here, man. 6 years later, who would have thunk it? So here we are. Hello, everybody.
Oh, I can
I
see
see
us.
you. You see me. Um, sorry about that. 34 minutes later, but technology and end user and end user error. Me, I'm end user. I'm the error. So yeah, but we're here now. We're here now, and I hope that everything that we've been providing so far has been helpful and made you all want to be a part of Afros in Audio 2024. We're really excited. I mean, to see the folks who are invested in Afros in Audio, who wants to see this conference stay in the industry, and just for me, and I could be completely biased. I'm that's fair. But the industry needs Afros in audio in so many ways and for so many reasons. It's an important conference, not just for podcast creators and audio professionals, but for folks who are in the tech, for folks who support podcasters, for people who work with podcasters. This is an event. Your people are here. This is an event that you want to be a part of, and we want you a part of it. Whether it's speaking, attending, vendor, sponsorship, donations, whatever it looks like to keep Afros in audio moving forward and to remain in the podcast industry. We want to see you there. It's really important work that we're doing, and really important stories that we're telling.
And
Yeah,
now
you can be seen now. Let's go.
Afro's audio is it's such a space for learning, and not only at the festival but all year round. And so that's what makes me really excited about the blog and what's the latest beat. And so weekly, every Thursday right now, and we're looking to increase, and we'll be able to increase. Hi, Rainbow. And we'll be able to increase because with your support and contribution. But right now, every Thursday, there's new information dropping with links, with news, with inspiration to keep us going as a community in Afros and audio. And so I'm hoping that people will tune in to know that, again, that the festival is the feast, but all along we have the snacks, right? And so we're going to make sure that we're giving you something to bite on every single week. So log into the website, join our community, make sure you get the emails, make sure that you stay engaged with the community, because we're always wanting to, like a flight family, give things away. Because as we receive from you, we have so much more to give. And so, being a part of the community allows for us to expand in that way. So we're looking for your voice, right? We're looking for your contributions. We want to hear from you, because we know that the experts are out there, and we're the experts is what we're saying. You know what I'm saying? We're the experts. So as you're the expert, we want to hear from you. We want to be able to amplify your voice on this platform all year round, right? So especially if you're going to be submitting as a speaker, make sure that you're engaging with our audience all year by, putting it out there on our blog, right? Like, we want to hear from you continuously, and the space is open and welcome.
Absolutely. And I'm glad you mentioned that about our speakers and the experts. And one of the point and purposes of the conference is, in 2018, 2017, and seeing what was out there, right, that didn't look like us in any way. And then being asked to speak and going to different conferences and seeing the speakers. And I just started noticing this pattern of, when we were on stage, we were talking about DEI issues and inclusion issues and, diversity issues and lowering barriers that were set so you can dismantle them. Actually, we don't need them lowered. Lowered sounds like you opening up a VIP room for a minute and you closing it, and once it's enough, right? And so for me, it was like, we're out here, we know how to talk about more than what we're being relegated to talking about. And on top of that, I'm all about forward movement. I know the issue. Y'all know the issue. I'm tired of talking about the issue. It's time to do something about the issue. And so when we start Afros in audio and you see a room full of Black speakers and a room full of Black attendees and experts, it's because we have so much to offer in this space. We have so much value to add. The industry it won't go without us, without our voices, without our stories. And one of the biggest reasons for this conference is, again, in a creator space, the creators must benefit from an industry that is benefiting off of us. And when you think about the podcast industry and how not new, not old, right in that between space of still being developed and shaped, without podcasts, there is no podcast industry, which makes us the most powerful people in the room. And until we start to understand that and begin to move like that, that's how we change the game. And this is what Afros in Audio is about. It's about changing the game in our favor. You know, the monopoly game, it's in our favor. It benefits us. And so this is something that is very serious. It's something that we really want to make sure that Afros in Audio continues to be a space where we can have these conversations and move this industry forward. But only while we move ourselves forward as a community and as individuals and show up in this space. We're still, a marginalized group inside of the industry. We're still a low percentage of active podcasts. It's about sustainability. It's about starting. It's about believing, right, that you have something to say and your voice is important. And Afros in Audio is that place where you are not only going to learn that and believe that and feel that, but you're going to be able to leave with more information than you came with and a community of folks who's got your back. Yeah. So Shamiko, go ahead.
Oh,
Go
I
ahead,
was going
Minister.
to say, what are some of the success stories from over the last 6 years that you would like to share, like so people could just really know what it means to be a part of Afros in Audio?
Wow, I would love to share that, and it's really so many. The biggest thing is for me is the community piece and the collaboration piece. And again, I'll point you all's attention to our YouTube. AJ, I believe I shared that YouTube. You can drop that in the chat for us. Where it's about hearing from our community, and they will all. I don't have to tell it; they'll tell it. They'll tell it for me. But it's really been, again, we started this conference with the mission of the day after, staying in the community and collaborating with one another, and the relationships that have been built from stepping into an Afros in Audio conference. I mean, people will tell you they have best friends now, and they're not play best friends, real best friends, right? And they have collaborations, and we've brought so many people together. We've changed the lives of so many creatives. We've launched so many careers, and I'm very, very, very proud of that. And it's only the beginning. 6 years in, I still feel like we are just beginning to really make our mark in this industry and as creatives in podcasting. That's my story, and I'm sticking to it. That's it. So, Shamiko, and AJ and Minister, you have firsthand experiences. I'm here. I'm sitting in the space where a lot of times my effort and my mind is really on making this conference, this event, the best that it can be year after year, to show and share value about what it means to be a Black creative, a Black audio professional in the podcast industry. Often I don't get to see a lot. I encourage you all to check out the 57 episodes of me having conversations with our community members. Again, it's on our YouTube, and it's also our podcast, Heard, the Afros in Audio interview series. I encourage you to listen to that just to see the range of folks that we have in our community. And what you can expect to get and see and experience. We have people who are at the top of their game and just starting. And you know what? You won't feel the difference. Podcasting is a great equalizer. We all kind of starting from the same space, wanting to make sure that people see and hear our podcast. That's a great equalizer. And so when you come to Afros in Audio, you're going to be in a room with people that you've only looked at from afar. And you could get starstruck, but the thing is that it's a grounding. I've heard it. It's in here from our community. I've heard it firsthand. There's this space where it's like, do I belong in this room with other people that are at this spot in their career, in their podcasting career? And the answer is yes. At Afros in Audio, the answer is yes, and we make sure that you feel that year after year. So again.
One of the things
Go
that
ahead.
I think is so dope is that you've had international reach. I remember in one of the podcast festivals, I was a moderator for podcasters in Africa and in Nigeria. And so just being exposed to not just like the American version, like but the whole entire diaspora. And like I really want to amplify that, how vast the community is. And so to me, that is like such an amazing feat to come from, like you said, with your story, with just looking for community and then being able to find it worldwide. And
Yeah.
that is how big and vast we are as a community, and we get to continue to grow that.
Absolutely, absolutely. I remember the first year we had Renee Richardson all the way from London, and she started Broccoli Productions, and I believe it just sunset over the last year, but just a brilliant mind at the first conference. And last year we had Kalichi at the conference, and just people come from far and wide. This is about the diaspora, right? This is about wherever we are. There's a story. We are the great storytellers. We are the great innovators. And so wherever you are, this is a conference for you. We want you to be a part of this. And to your point, Minister, we had two panels that year from out of Kenya, from AfriPods, and the representatives of that community and that platform. And so this is always what it's going to be about. We're inclusive. We are open. We're embracing. The only requirement is that you're not a bigot and you don't have a limited mind around who is a part of our community, because our Afros and Audio is going to reflect always and forever the society in which we live in. And so if that's your experience and you want to come to our conference, you are welcome. If you don't like people and you don't respect people's identities and all of that, then there's other conferences that I would usher you towards. This is real. This is about a community where people love on each other, support each other, and celebrate each other, period, and point blank.
Yeah. Oh, sorry. I think you want to talk to Miko?
You can go ahead, AJ. I'm
Okay.
battling a bee.
Okay. I just want to say, just piggybacking off of what you just said real quick, the fact that it is a community. I just wanted to also express again how nice everyone is. I mean, that shouldn't be like a surprise or anything. It's just I didn't expect anyone to be mean or anything. When I went to the conference and all the information that people were just willing to give. There's this idea for sound engineers just in the sound engineering industry, because it's entertainment. There's a lot of gatekeeping information and people don't always want to share out there. And I felt that and I've seen that. So being able to go to a conference, people will be like, hey, you have a question? Like we were saying earlier, you have a question? Yeah, I would love to share that information with you. Or, hey, I can give you, I might not know the answer, but I can give you somebody else's information that may know the answer better than I can. They're right over there. Let's go talk to them right now. Like that kind of feeling. It feels really great.
Yeah,
I just wanted to say
absolutely.
that.
I know I'm constantly telling people that Afros and Audio is like going to a family reunion. And I had to recognize that I actually like my family. So when I say that, I mean it as a positive. And so for anybody out there who does not share that experience or that perspective of your family, you might have to find a different way to view Afros and Audio. But one of my favorite takeaways has been being able to not just be a creative, but a consumer of podcasts. And so I listened to a lot of podcasts that were on the Black Love Network. And then I met the producer for the podcast of the Black Love Network. And they were not just a panelist, because a lot of times you can go to a conference and they're panelists and they go in a green room and you don't get to see them. You don't get to speak to them. They dip out on the side entrance. And that person was like, yeah, I produce those podcasts, and most of our listenership is on your coast, not where we record at. And this is what I think about all of the people on your coast that give me feedback about my work. And it's like, you get to talk to the people who make the shows that you love. And following up with what Minister said about it being an international conference, the first time I was able to go in person was 2022 in Philadelphia, and sitting in a room with Canadian creators and learning what podcasting and what that industry looks like in a different country, and some of the different regulations and the different ways that creativity is expressed there in a format that we might view narrowly or not so narrowly, here in the US, it opens you up to different perspectives. Last year, with the British are coming, Kalechi showed not just her own podcast, but she showcased several different podcasts that are coming out of Black creators in the UK. And I actually learned of a new one. It's become one of my favorites. Have you listened to George podcast? That's the name of it. Have you listened to George podcast is the name of the podcast. And the storytelling on that thing is amazing. It's produced by the BBC, so I imagine they have a larger budget than some of the others that I love. But getting to meet the creatives behind the shows that you love is a big deal. Getting to know that they are human just like you are human is a big deal. Getting to give flowers to people who are working on dope projects like Crystal, no, I don't think you hate the East Coast. It's just that's what you said. But like I got to meet Anna Deshawn of the Cube, and I got to meet Latrice in person, who was one of the curators of the first Afros Audio Podcast Festival that I got to be a part of, the virtual conference in 2021. And Latrice gave me such a good hug. Like, I was thinking about that the other day. I was like, you know what? I really cannot wait for October because I need a Latrice hug. And so Latrice and Anna and Experience J got together and they did a podcast on HIV in the South. And it was a docu-series for audio. And the storytelling and the amount of information that was shared on that. Like, I learned so much, and I like documentaries in general. I am a Black woman who knows about, and I went to school in DC, which has one of the highest growing rates for HIV in the country. So this is something that's on my radar. But to learn about how it affects a region that I've never lived in, but I do have loved ones in, and why it systemically is impacting people in that region differently than maybe here where I am on the East Coast. It was really informative, but it was also told compassionately. And so to get to meet the people beyond that podcast and say to them, you did great work. And I don't just share your work on Twitter, but I get to say to you in person, this was awesome. To meet Dominic behind Black is America podcast, like, and they're just regular people. Everybody is just a regular person like you are. It's not the same level of gatekeeping like AJ said. People are there and they want to share the information. Nobody's sliding out the back door on you. People are wanting to, hey, hug, you want a picture. It's not really about the photo op. Let's go to lunch together. And sometimes you don't even talk about podcasting when you have lunch with these people. You get to know them as the people they are. You get to share with them, hey, like Crystal said, that I made it seem like she hates the East Coast, but she's from the West Coast and you're having it in Baltimore. And I lived in Baltimore for 8 years. I'm going to tell you where to go eat. Go eat over here. This is a Black-owned business that I've patronized. I know them. I worked with them on a different job previously. Like, it's just really, like I said, I like my family. So it's a family reunion for me because I've liked the people that I've come to know through Afros and Audio.
Absolutely, and I mean, there's a such thing called chosen family, right? And that's something that when you get to choose the people that you hang around and be with, that it hits different too. And that's what Afros and Audio has become. And what you spoke about with that podcast, that is the nature of the collaboration, right? That we're talking about. These folks, these creators, these brilliant people came together. They met at an Afros and Audio conference, and then they went on to do amazing, award-winning work together. And that is, if we're not doing that, like if this isn't a transformative space and it's just transactional, like a lot of things that exist in this world, I know I don't want it. And I feel like as a people, as a community, we're a little tired of that in general, right? This is a community that can access one another, not a community that gets accessed by myself or anyone else that doesn't see the value in what we're doing and the work that we're creating. The award-winning podcasts are out the door when it comes to the folks who attend and speak at the conference. I did want to shout out Bernard, who was also with Kalichi. We talked about her and how dope she was, but Bernard was right there with her from Britain, and we're excited to have them all. And again, year after year, over and over again, we welcome people from all over the West Coast, East Coast, South, North, and across the pond, as they say, and across the ocean. And we're really looking forward to continuing that work because it is important. We're here to stay. And I just want to see as many folks at the conference this year as humanly possible. The goal is that we gather, we have these conversations, we see our way forward in this industry, and we move forward powerfully together. And with that said, I want to make sure you all know October 18th through the 20th, Baltimore, Maryland. We will be there again. We're returning to Baltimore October 18th to the 20th. Again, Friday is going to be a live show and a kickoff. Our Saturday is a full day of breakout sessions and networking events. And Sunday, we're going to have our annual State of Black podcast, a town hall Q&A, which is something we did in 2019 and haven't brought it back yet, but we're doing it again this year. A weekend reflection as we do every year. And then we're going to be out of there. We're going to get out of there early this year. Sundays is meant for travel and back home. And so we're going to make sure that people are able to get home in a good time and have a full weekend with Afros and Audio. For some of you, it'll be a return. And for others of you, it'll be your first time coming. Either way it goes, whether you are pod curious or have had a podcast for years, an audio professional, someone outside of this industry altogether and wants to know more about how you can support, what you can do, what you can create. This is about innovation. This is about inventing. This is about making sure that the opportunities that we secure for ourselves are something that we are also creating and building for ourselves. We can sit at all the existing tables, but we also get to build our own. And that is why Afros and Audio exists. And with that said, I promised y'all a juicy story at the end. Promise y'all that. It's almost over, so that's good. I get to cut and run. I'm going to say what I got to say, and I'm going to get out of here. I'm going to just leave y'all's jaws on the ground.
Before you tell your story.
Yes, please.
If you're out there, please grab your tickets now. AJ, if you can put it across the bottom of the screen and put it in the chat, buy your tickets now. Get them before the price goes up. Price goes up June 1st. Get your tickets now. And the first 3 people to drop your tickets in the comments, we'll have something special for you.
Absolutely. And that's early bird tickets are available up until July. We're going to have honors. I didn't even mention that. We're going to be collaborating and some of the folks that are may be honored and may be selected to be honored as our legend. It's our first ever Legend Awards. We're going to do that at our after party on Saturday. I'm super excited about that. That's a collaboration with Black Podcasters Awards. And the nomination is closed, but the voting is open now until May 24th. But you have to be a part of the Black Podcasters Association. You must have been a nominee or an awardee for the Black Podcast Awards or have been a speaker or some type of contributor to Afros and Audio over the years. Those are the requirements for the voters. As long as you are part of one of those, then you have an opportunity to vote our legends in. And we're going to have a great ceremony for them to celebrate the folks that so often aren't celebrated in this industry. And with that said, buy your early bird tickets. This is an event you don't want to miss. New, existing, curious, think you know what you're doing and need a little bit more support. Whatever it is, make sure you come out to Afros and Audio. And speaker submissions are open again. There's opportunity to sponsor. There's opportunity to donate. All you got to do is go to www.afrosandaudio.com. You got the FAQs there. You got the place to purchase your tickets. You have the speaker submissions and the latest beats. The blog is right front and center, and you'll be able to see that and see the exciting content that we've got going on. And again, Black Writers Weekend, August 1st through the 2nd in Atlanta, Georgia. So our story. So on Saturday, right, we had an awesome day in 2019, didn't we? It was our first day. I was nervous as hell. It was wild.
I loved it. Loved it.
It was beautiful. And then we had to get out of there real fast. Like the guy, the person.
There was another event coming, so it was like, everybody.
Yeah, the landlord was like, I got to go. I got to go. You ain't got to go home, but you got to get out of here for a second. And so when we returned the next morning. The next morning.
It was very morning. Yeah.
The next morning. We
opened the doors. It was Sunday morning. We opened the doors. And so there's so many things to be seen. The first thing that I remember seeing that was out of place in my space was a swing. And I couldn't figure out, like, what is this swing happening? What is going on? And lo and behold, when we figured out from all the context clues, because there was trinkets and dinkets all over the floor in the form of safety gear, if we will, that you would wear if you were going to be attending a
party that you don't want to attend unless you are consenting to attend it. Let's put it that way. And the contraption in the
said it. I said it. Did you hear me say it?
yeah,
Okay,
yeah,
I said
yeah.
it. If I ain't gonna say it again.
The contraption in the middle of the room, we had to. Now this is the funny part, y'all. Many of you have heard of Desiree Talib from Pop Law podcast. She's now on Revolt TV network. Her panel was first, and I couldn't let her in the door because we were still trying to get this contraption of a swing out of the middle of the floor and covered by something that hopefully nobody noticed, this big elephant sitting in the on the side of our conference space. We had a lot of cleaning up to do. When I say a lot
of cleaning,
we had a lot of cleaning up to do. Yeah, it was a lot. And it was almost that moment where it's like, what's happening and why why is this happening to me?
Can I say how badass your partner is?
Please.
Because she came in and was just like, fix this. And I mean, really, really, we got together. And when you talk about community, because before we can even get into a place of complaining about it, we knew that a job needed to be done.
Yeah,
and
we had work to do.
We were all hands on deck, cleaning, making sure that the space was presentable, so that when people who paid to be there, who paid their ticket, were welcomed into a space that again felt like the home space that they left. Because that's what everybody was saying. Like, oh my God, we love your space so much. It feels like home. I allowed, with my partner, he had an event that he didn't give me any of the details on. And when I found out later, it was an event that was, like you said, like something that adults need to be consensual about. And it was, to our surprise, that he got very twisted through the night and didn't fulfill his obligation of cleaning up. So when we came in, he was in there asleep. Knocked out.
He was in there. Oh, I forgot about him sleeping.
Yeah.
But yeah. It was a mess. But we did what needed to be done, as we always
did
with this conference.
Done. And that's what's so amazing about working together. And that's what solidified Talib and I as family, because it's like we went through that experience. And embarrassing as it was for me as a business owner, right? Like, they didn't get on me. They knew that I didn't have any preview to that. And we worked together to rectify it immediately. And it was amazing. Like, day two was freaking amazing. Day two was amazing. And I loved it. I loved it. And I was just like, see, these are my people. And so forever indebted to Talib for just believing in the vision and supporting and making it happen. And so I want you guys to feel invited, to know that we love you like how we love each other in this space. And like, you are welcome, arms wide open. This is a home for you, and a home for you to learn, to grow, and to manifest your visions and your dreams. And, you know, we want to see and support you in that.
Absolutely. And just like, you know, that Sunday when we made sure that nobody knew what we had just went through, right? That is what we're here for. This is a group of folks who are committed to the work that we're doing, or committed to Afros and Audio, and want to see this grow, and not only grow, but be a space for people. It ain't all kumbaya. We are learning. We are educating one another. We're sharing our experiences. We're leveling up together. We're beginning to understand each other's experiences in this industry, so that we know how to navigate it ourselves. That is what we're here for. And so, for anyone out there who hasn't yet experienced Afros and Audio, please show up. And I say always, show up for yourselves and each other, because that's what it is when you come to Afros and Audio. Show up for yourself. Make sure that you are there to get what you need for your podcasting, for your career, and show up for the people that are in the room who also need to see you, because for each of us, we become possibility. And so with that said, again, afrosandaudio.com, everything you need to know is right there. We welcome your attendance, your speaker submission, your donations, your sponsorship, your blog contributions, and this is
your
about
ticket
innovation.
purchases.
And your ticket purchases, early bird tickets. And so this year is all about moving it forward, collaboration. If you have any ideas, shoot them our way. Send them to Minister Jazz, jazz@afrosandaudio.com. Innovation and Engagement Curator. We're going to be creating micro events, content collaborations, all of that. And we want our members to be able to have the opportunity to engage with us in that. So with that said, I appreciate you all. I apologize for the technical difficulties. Now I know. And as G.I. Joe said, knowing is half the battle. I'm old. That's what I grew up on. Knowing is half the battle. We won't have that issue again, but we're here now. AJ, thank you. Minister, thank you. Shamiko, thank you for being a part of 2024 Afros and Audio, the 6th annual event from the first ever conference for and by Black podcast creatives and Afro and audio professionals. I said it all jacked up. I'm ready to go. I'm tired. Thank you all. I appreciate you. Early bird tickets on sale now. Let's go.
And thank you, Talib.
Absolutely. Check out our YouTube, hear from our community. It'll tell you everything you need to know about what we're going to create this year and what we created so far. Peace, everyone. Thank you.